Dunder Mifflin, this is Pam. Okay, hold on. Michael wants everyone to come over here because he has big news. Okay, everyone's here.
Listen up, everybody. They're asking for bids on the welfare program to analyze it. What should I bid?
What? That doesn't sound like a good idea. I don't think you should bid anything.
Bid nothing. Got it. Bye.
Bye.
Hey Pam, have you heard back from Michael?
No, I haven't heard back from him.
Everybody listen up! Big news! Big news! We got the bid!
What bid?
As of today, we're analyzing welfare.
This says you bid 0.
Yeah, you guys told me to bid nothing, so that's exactly what I did. I bid 0.
Nothing.
Michael.
Nothing is not 0. It's
Oh.
nothing.
Well, we got the bid. As of today, we have been officially hired by the federal government to analyze our welfare program. Did you know that a child born into poverty in the years following World War II had a greater than 50% chance to make it to middle class by the time they were 18, whereas a child born into poverty today has a 43% chance to live in poverty their entire life? It's all in the book, right here. Hang on a second. Saving Capitalism for the Many. All you have to do is read. Which, of course, I didn't do. I just bought the audiobook.
Want some candy?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Listen up, people. We have welfare. We're doing our government a favor by researching welfare. Oh my gosh, is that real?
Yeah.
Should not look at that word. Welfare. What is the problem with welfare? Where are problems with welfare?
What is welfare?
Well, Kevin, it's the government's assistance to people in need.
No, wait, no, just no.
Actually, it's the government's assistance to people in need.
Correct. Ryan has it. Welfare is a problem. What are the problems?
I think I read somewhere something about corporate welfare. And
Corporate welfare? What is corporate welfare?
What about Medicaid?
Medicaid. I think that's good enough. It's been a hard day's work on that. So how about, Andy, you and Ryan can research corporate welfare. Kevin, you and Dwight, you guys get Medicaid.
What do I do?
Pam, you just sit there.
Michael! Michael!
Yes, Dwight.
Michael!
Andy.
I got something for you. Michael. Okay, so you said we're bidding $0 for this welfare project, so now I have to do this welfare project for no money?
Yep.
Well, I found information on it. All right, so according to an economist who works at Berkeley in California, which is west, until recently, like, back in the day, poverty, the people on welfare that were in poverty, they weren't working, they were widows, children, elderly people, or just kind of disabled, kind of like that one. And it was rare for people that were actually working to be on welfare. And this, nowadays it doesn't seem like it's the case, because this article says that they're actually hardworking poor. Some of them have 40-hour-a-week jobs and more than 2 jobs in some cases. The same economist said that, where is it at right here? The big problem is that wages have stayed consistent while inflation has made the price of a dollar go up. So that's not helping at all. In 2013, apparently, the working poor has grown to 47 million, which is about 1 in every 7. That's just kind of ridiculous. He goes on to say that between 2010 and 2013, the income of the bottom line, or the bottom fifth, dropped by 8%, and the average wealth declined by 21%. That's kind of crazy. This other article, which is, where is it in here? Oh, there it is. Half of the 46 million people using some sort of food charity, like whatever, food pantries and churches and whatnot, half of them work or have people working in their families full time. It's kind of crazy. Another one by the National Employment Law Project states that 52% of fast food workers are dependent on some form of welfare. That adds up to about $7 billion from federal and state government from taxes.
$7 billion?
Yeah, like with the B.
That's over 700.
Yeah. 700 what?
Dollars.
Oh yeah, that's big. Okay. Oh, another crazy one. So Forbes, you know, the people that have a magazine. Walmart employees.
Oh yeah, I read that magazine all the time. The one with the swimsuits.
Yeah. I thought that was what was that? Sports? No.
Okay, we'll agree to disagree.
Okay. So Walmart employees cost taxpayers about $6.2 billion in government assistance programs. That's too much, right?
That's more than it cost us.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, what's going on, I guess, is that these fast food companies and companies like Walmart, they're just not paying their employees much, and so they can make more money to profit like CEOs and whatnot, and it's coming out of like our money.
Andy's like a nerd. You have all these small ones, but he's like a big one. But he's also a smarty. So, do the two mix? I don't know. You be the judge of that.
The mythology that a minimum wage increase, or in real terms, restoring it to its 1968 level, would cause employers to reduce employment is a common trope. In fact, evidence suggests that few, or if any, jobs would be lost if the minimum wage were restored to at least its 1968 level, adjusted for inflation. Unlike industry jobs, minimum wage retail service jobs cannot be outsourced abroad, nor are these workers likely to be replaced by automated machinery because the services they provide are personal and direct. In addition, and significantly, the gains from a higher minimum wage extend well beyond those who receive it directly. More money in the pockets of low-wage workers means more sales in the places where they live, which in turn creates faster jobs and more growth. Research by Dubé, William Lester, and Michael Reich confirms this. They examined employment in several hundred pairs of adjacent counties lying on opposite sides of state borders, each with a different minimum wage, one at the federal minimum and the other at a higher minimum enacted by a state. And they found no statistically significant increase in unemployment in the higher minimum wage counties, even after 4 years. The research also found that employee turnover was lower where the minimum wage was higher, presumably saving employers money on recruiting and training new workers. Most workers earning the minimum wage are no longer teenagers seeking additional spending money. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the median wage of fast food workers in 2014 was 28, and the median age of women in those jobs, who constituted 2/3 of such workers, was 32. The median age of workers in big box retail establishments was over 30. More than a quarter of them have children. These workers are typically major breadwinners for their families, accounting for at least half of their family's earnings. So needless to say, a higher minimum wage would reduce the necessity for other taxpayers to pay for Medicaid, food stamps, and additional assistance these workers and their families need in order to cope with poverty. The real value of the federal minimum wage has been steadily eroded by inflation. Congress has chosen not to raise it in order to compensate for this decline. The National Restaurant Association and the National Retail Federation has lobbied against any increase in the federal minimum wage, which is tantamount to allowing it to erode even further. By 2014, its real value, $7.25 an hour, was well below the level to which it had been raised in 1996. Had the minimum wage retained its value that it had in 1968, it would have been $10.86 an hour by 2014. And of course, by 2014, the nation's economy was far larger than it was then and far more productive.
This is not good. So we're analyzing welfare for the federal government, right? I looked it up and it's not pretty. According to the Commonwealth Fund Biennial Health Survey in 2012, 46% of Americans did not have health insurance. So between the ages of 19 and 64, no health insurance. Another 16% experienced high out-of-pocket costs. Even when they had health insurance, it was too expensive for them and they didn't want to use it. So in total, that is 115 million people that either, one, don't have health insurance, or two, it's too expensive for them to actually utilize it. So according to the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, healthcare premiums and expenses have increased over 45% over the last 15 years. So for those that are fortunate enough to have coverage, their average cost has gone up almost 50%. So meanwhile, government records show that $603 billion, taxpayer dollars, per year are being pumped into the Medicaid system. So if there's only 65 million recipients, the rest either don't have health insurance or have really high premiums. So the 65 million recipients are getting all of that $603 billion of taxpayer money. That just doesn't seem right. Here's another problem. People who have good jobs, but not good enough jobs to have a really nice healthcare insurance plan, they're the ones that their premiums are so high that they can't afford to use them. For example, I had to go to the emergency room a year ago, and just to sit there for 45 minutes and get 2 IV bags pumped into me, it cost me $378. That is almost an entire week's paycheck for me. I cannot afford that. I didn't know it was going to be that much. The next time I'm sick, I won't be able to afford to go to the emergency room. Here's the worst part. So I talked to a nurse at Mercy Hospital in Edmond, Oklahoma. She said the people that benefit the most from healthcare are the people who don't have jobs at all. And because they cannot afford to pay anything, they don't have to. Hospitals are required by law to treat people who are seeking medical attention. So if the people don't have any money or don't have jobs and have no way to make money, they don't have to pay anything. So whose pockets does that money come out of? Working taxpayers. But the bottom line is, the Medicaid system is very inefficient. It costs taxpayers a ton of money. It is unfair to those who truly deserve it. And something needs to be done about it. So Dwight is about to tell you what a possible solution could be.
As Kevin discussed, Medicaid has many problems that many individuals cannot provide a solid answer to. Ideas have come and gone on how solutions should be integrated for the system to save money. As we've all seen, however, there has not been a successful program started that is still in existence. My proposal would be to initiate a drug testing program for Medicaid recipients. By starting a program of this sort, families that are receiving medical assistance that test positive for a controlled substance would be cut off and have to pay for medical visits out of pocket. Yes, this does sound like a very harsh way of removing individuals. However, if an individual is abusing the system, should they still be allowed to obtain the benefits of the system?
Yes, Mother. Of course,
Right,
like always.
right.
I'll be over
Right.
after church on Sunday.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Right.
I'll call you back. What?
See this cup? Need you to
Yeah.
pee in it.
No. Why?
Because I need you to pee in that cup.
Dwight, I'm not just gonna pee in a cup.
But you're making minimum wage, so you might be on welfare.
I'm only on welfare because Michael doesn't pay me enough to live on.
Well, this is the deal. I'm not leaving this desk until you pee in that cup. You understand? Not
Okay.
leaving until you pee in that cup.
It's not a deal.
Why not? Why
Not a
not?
deal.
But that's part. In my opinion, the obvious answer is not. If you work, you automatically pay taxes. This is the type of money that goes to pay for the medical assistance individuals are abusing. Colorado Senator Jerry Sonnenberg supports my viewpoint by stating that if you have enough money to buy drugs, then you don't need public assistance. This goes to show that not only should you not be receiving this assistance, you should not be able to draw the benefits of Medicaid. By drawing assistance under the use of a controlled substance, you are not only breaking the law, breaking the contract you signed when agreeing to the terms of welfare, but you are considerably putting a burden on the system. If this burden continues, some families could not survive without this public service.
What the heck are you doing, Dwight?
This, in my opinion, not only shows that you are not a trustworthy person, but you are considered lazy, self-centered, and somewhat guilty. Nothing that you do matters about others. Whatever makes you happy is what makes the world revolve. This, as a matter of fact, is false, if you didn't know. However, I do understand that in very minimal cases, some medications prescribed to individuals test positive when given a drug test, and further verification should be provided to exempt them from testing. The drug testing program would be just like the current drug testing policy at most workplaces. The testing is to be done randomly and should not be focused on a particular race, also known as being non-discriminative. Some individuals claim that they are being discriminated against when tested in this way. I know from personal experience as a hard laborer, I would be more than happy to pee in a cup to obtain a week's paycheck without breaking a sweat. If anyone in this room knows where to sign the dotted line to get these benefits, please tell me where to go. And I promise, if you know where this is, I'll choose to share the wealth card to help you out. That seems like a heck of a deal that probably everyone would be willing to do. Am I wrong? I do not believe any person in this room would deny this opportunity. So why can't an individual do this to receive their assistance? The answer is they should be more than willing to. I got him. Told you I'd get you. In addition to this policy, some individuals claim that there should be a 3-strike policy enforced. I believe this to be bogus. If you are using illegal drugs, you shouldn't have the possibility of a probation period. A report on ProQuest regarding welfare states that you should be revoked from obtaining assistance for 6 months if tested positive for a substance the first time, the second, 12 months, and finally for the 3rd strike be removed permanently. Does this not seem absurd? When in legal cases, if you were caught in possession of marijuana, meth, cocaine, any other substance, the particular suspect is sent to jail, no exception. They are arrested on scene and locked up. In the case of public assistance, instead of being locked up, they would just be kicked off the program, with the possibility of being on a watch list by the police. Does this not seem fair? One report claims that drug testing for welfare would affect 1.6 million households nationwide. By weeding out the individuals that are abusing the system, thousands of dollars would be saved. One of the biggest issues that individuals have with enacting this program pertains to the cost. The dollars required to start the program are astronomical, but Guy Libman, Oklahoma City Republican, hits the mark when he states that even if it didn't save a dime, this legislation would be worth enacting based on principle. Law-abiding citizens should not have their tax payments used to fund illegal activity that puts us all in danger. I agree with this statement as I abide by the law and believe that others should do the same. Hi, I'm Dwight Schrute, and if you're like millions of Americans right now, you too might be wondering if you can pass a drug test. Now is your chance. This is the optimal time. For 3 easy installments of $19.99, you can do this in the comfort of your home. Together, we can end public urination.
Imagine a world draped in total darkness.
No.
Okay. Imagine a world half covered in darkness.
That's the way it is right now.
Fine. Imagine a country in which it's more beneficial to be on welfare than it is to have a job. A country where more and more people are spurning entering the workforce in favor of getting on welfare. Now imagine for a second doing whatever you love to do every day, all day, and getting paid for it.
Michael.
Sorry. Picture a country where businesses aren't shutting down for lack of profit, but for lack of workers. Where motivation and ambition would be non-existent except for the elite few. Where taxes would be an all-time high to help pay for welfare. Where socialism replaces capitalism as the main ideology. And some guy named Joseph Stalin comes along. And he takes over, and nobody likes Joseph Stalin.
So Michael told me not to do any research on the federal welfare problems, but I decided to do some research for myself. Ryan is getting paid $7.25 an hour, the federal minimum wage, and he's also on welfare because he can't support himself. So I found in an article by John Klomos, an economist, that nearly 1.3 million Americans are getting paid the minimum wage, and 21 million are getting paid just above the minimum wage. That's nearly 1/3 of America's workforce. If that 1/3 was getting paid maybe $12 or $15 an hour, they could support themselves and their families. And that money would go back into the market, producing more jobs because productivity would increase, and it would also put more money back into the market. I don't know why Michael would argue not to increase the minimum wage. It just blows my mind. I don't know. Anyway, I also found that 28 states already in the US have an increased minimum wage above the federal minimum wage. California's is $15 an hour. Why can't we have that? Also, Germany and Switzerland have unemployment rates of between 3% and 4%, and they have a minimum wage between $9 and $10 an hour, and it had no effect on their unemployment. Michael also believes that if you increase the minimum wage, unemployment would increase, which obviously makes no sense since there is statistics that back it up. Not only would increasing the minimum wage help the economy and the well-being of Americans, it would stabilize and create jobs. Also, it would increase the desire for gaining the American dream. For years, people have been wanting to make a living for themselves. If you have such a low minimum wage, how can they make a living for themselves and their family? Robin Claremont is the Director of Development and Communications at the National Priorities Project, and she stated in an article that the average American taxpayer pays between $12,000 and $13,000 in federal income taxes, and 23% of those taxes go towards federal welfare programs, like food stamps. which I'm sure Ryan is on because Michael won't pay him enough. So, if, per se, we increase the minimum wage